So what we were doing before is we've just been looking at, for simple interest, we looked at the recurrence formula. So the recurrence formula is where we had the VO, then we had the VN plus 1 equals VN plus D, okay? So we were looking at the recurrence formula. Now we're going to look at, we create a formula that can find the nth term in a sequence. So what that means is, see, you know how we were finding the value after, say, 1 year, 3 years. When we have investments and financial things, we might say, you know, what is the value after 30 years? Now, you don't want to have to keep clicking in your calculator and typing over, 30 times you're pressing enter to try and get that value. So what we do is we create the nth term formula. So that means I could find any term using this formula. So what it does, so say it's called VN. So if you, for example, we'll put a little example on the side so you understand it. If I wanted to find V30, what I would be doing, so this formula would say V30 is what I want to find. So I'll use VO. They probably have told you that. Then plus. Now see how that's N there? Well, our N in this scenario is 30. So you're going to do 30 times the D. Okay? So this is how it'll make it quicker. We won't have to type in our calculator and we get there. So this is called the nth term. Now they will tell you when they want you to create this formula, they'll call it the nth term, or to find any value, they'll say what formula. So be careful. When they want a recurrence relation, you will see the wording recurrence relation. When they don't, they will just want the nth term. That's the wording you're going to see. So here we've got the formula. So if we have to create it from a scenario, once again, the D is what you're going to have to calculate if they haven't given you that already. And we'll have to pop it in. So here, this formula down here is just the same as this, but this bit is how we calculate, this bit here is how we calculate D. Okay, so just to make, if you wanted to do it all in one go. All right, so let's go do some examples so you can see what we're talking about. So the following recurrence relation can be used to model simple interest. So remember, we need to make sure we know which one we're talking about. And here's the recurrence relation. Yep. And it says, what is the principal of the investment? Now you guys can do that. That's the same as before. What's the initial amount?
3,000.
Good, 3,000. And then it says, what was the interest rate per annum? So here's where we wrote out, we know this is what D, how we find D, but we can see here, there's the D value. So I've done solve, and I've found out that the interest rate is 8.7%. Now it says here, now this is where we're up to, this new bit. It says write down the rule for the value of the investment after N years. So here I've put the template, or what you're going to follow off. And so let's have a look. So we're going to have to write VN. Now we're not going to write VO. We know what VO is, and what is it? In this example, good, it's 3,000. So we're going to do 3,000 plus. Now this bit, remember I said, was the D value. We already know that. They've already calculated. What is that for us? 260, good. So I can just write 260N. The N could be at the front or at the end. We like to put it after the number, but you're not incorrect if you've left it in front. Okay, so there's a formula for any term if we wanted to find it. Now it says use this rule to find the value after 15 years. So that's really, they want V15 is the question. So using that rule, it would be V15 equals 3,000 plus 260 times 15. And we do that on our calculator. And what do we 6,900. Okay, so there's our answer. Now, when it says, when will the value of the investment first exceed 10,000? So that's when they're telling you what it's got to equal. So you have the left side of the formula. If you look here, this is the formula. Vn equals VO plus D times N. Yeah? So they've told us it's going to be 10,000. So I've put the 10,000 into the Vn spot because I'm trying to find what number value that, or what number year that is. So into the formula, I can put everything except for that N is not known, and that's what we want to do. So we can just do solve. All right. So Arnie invests 4,000 into a simple, so here we should start writing VO like that, and we'll underline simple interest at a rate of 6.5% per annum. So that's R. So find the rule for the value of Vn after n number of years. So this is them saying they want the nth term formula or whatever, or rule. Okay, so here I've gone to my formula sheet. I've realized it's this one that I want. So I'm going to write Vn. Now, I know what VO is. It's 4,000 plus, now we're going to do N. Now, we don't know what D is in this case. So now I'm going to have to do some working out. So I'm going to do 6.5 over 100 times the VO. So maybe we'll pop that bit into our calculator so that we can get a summarized value for that D value. So let's have a look. What would that be? All right, so we get, 260, and then we'll have the N. I like to put the N afterwards, but just because that's the way we normally do it. But if you accidentally, like, because you're following your formula and you wrote N260, you're still correct. I'll still give it to you, okay? We don't normally see the letter before the number, do we? No. So we just write it like that. Okay, what is the value after 10 years? So that means I want V10 is the question. So if it's V10, it'll be 4,000 plus 260, and the N is 10. So that's what gets put in there. And we'll have, what will we have? 6,600. And there's our answer.